Natalie Bassingthwaite here at Mix 106.5. Mix Mornings with Sonia and Todd on this Friday. I don't know what it is. I'm just feeling really relaxed.
Oh, yeah. It's your birthday.
Well, that's probably something to do with it, I suppose.
Yes.
So. But yeah, it's De-Stress Day.
That's right. It's National De-Stress Day, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
And we have the man who knows everything about de-stressing. I love your background music. Thanks, Andy. Mayron Lees is in the studio with us. Good morning.
Hey.
Good morning.
Now, it's fortuitous that you are here, really, because we were just talking about how Todd gets super stressed out about stuff.
Yeah, I get stressed out about things. I love this. Your book, first of all, is De-Stress, Building Resilience in Challenging Times, 7 Simple Techniques. Now, as soon as you open the book, there's this little red card. Explain that.
Well, the red card is something which can help just the everyday person to
Just talking to the microphone. This is radio.
No,
He's doing well. He's doing great.
You're stressing him out.
that's all good. Happy Friday.
No, so what is the red card for?
The red card technique is something which are designed to counter what I call thought attacks. And the thought attacks is when all the negativity in the brain starts to churn. You know, when you have all these negative spiral thoughts about something that's going on in your life, it's stressing you out. So the red card is similar to what a referee does to send a player off the field.
Oh, okay, right,
so,
of course.
Yeah, so you've watched sports matches where someone does a damaging act and the referee pulls out the red card and goes, "You're out of here." Similar thing. What can we do to try and kick out our negative thoughts out of our mind?
Why do we do that? Like, we'll have one thing go wrong, and then before we know it, our lives are complete disasters, and it's, you do spiral.
You do. What's on the red card?
There's actually 3 points, Todd, and the first one is understanding that the negative thoughts are harmful. Because exactly what you were saying, Sonia, is that they actually start avalanching in our mind. I call it the monkey mind. You get the one negative thought, and then before you turn around, there's another negative thought. And the monkeys don't like being alone, and the monkeys represent the negative thought. So what happens before you know it, there's a whole community of monkeys in our head, and they're spiraling this negative thought. I mean, we have 60,000 thoughts a day. Most of them are negative.
Wow.
So if someone says to you, "Hey, have a nice day," you should really sit them down and say, we got to counter all these thoughts before we get to zero.
Actually, you haven't met my mother, because all of her thoughts are negative. Of the 60,000, I would say probably 98%.
So on your cards, you've got point 1, these thoughts are harmful to me.
That's right.
Right.
So understanding that the monkeys are going to start churning, we're going to start feeling worse and worse and worse and worse the more we're going to think negative thoughts.
And point 2 is that I can choose different thoughts.
That's right. No one's holding a gun to our heads, right? To say you've got to think this way, or we can choose to think about it differently.
And number 3, how else can I interpret this?
Yeah, and that's so crucial, Todd, because it's about how we perceive something. So if you're driving in the traffic, for example, and someone cuts you off, and we can honk the horn, and we can get
road rage.
Yeah, we can use some colourful language that can make a rainbow look dull.
Which apparently de-stresses you.
Well, you see, what happens is you can get really caught up when there's a traffic jam and be late for a meeting, for example. Yeah. So how else can I interpret this? Because
there are a lot of people right now sitting in traffic jams.
Right.
Yep.
So tell them how to cope with that.
Well, there you go. So right now you're sitting there and you're getting a little bit frustrated, a little bit stressed out because you're in the traffic, right? There's 2 things that you need to understand. One is, can you control the situation?
No.
Unless you can really control the traffic flow, which you probably can't.
Only Vic LaRusso can do that.
Exactly. So from that perspective, we've got to say, okay, no, I can't control it. And then we've got to accept it. And that's the second point.
So therefore, you have your radio on Mix 106.5.
And you chill out and enjoy conversations like these, and it's all good.
And you ring us up. Well, okay, can I ask you this? In Sonia's and my life, we have a lot of people making assumptions about us that we have never met, which stresses us out. They write things that are not true in the paper, for instance, or they ring us up and they complain about a comment I've made or whatever. That stresses us out. How do we let that go?
You see, what's important is to recognize that if you're going to allow the external world, situations, people, circumstances, to affect your internal world, then we're in trouble because we become a victim to the circumstance.
So do we just try and build a thick skin and get over it, or do we actually look into it?
Well, what's really good is you can give yourself a red card, because if you're not feeling good, you're not thinking good. And we call those thoughts sponsoring thoughts, because the thoughts sponsor our emotions. You don't just feel something, you think something, then you feel it.
Then you feel it,
Yeah. So if you're thinking something about the situation you just described, have a look at what the sponsoring thoughts are to your stress. Find out what you're thinking. Give yourself a red card. If you're not thinking good, you're not going to feel good. That's how you know you're having thought attacks. And find another interpretation. So say, hey, how else can I interpret this? So
So we can interpret it like, oh, well, I know it's not true, and so just get over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it really matter?
Does it really
that's
matter?
It. That's what I keep saying to you, Todd. Those who matter don't mind, and those who mind don't matter.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
There you
really.
go.
It's,
That's
what's the one? What's the
Confucius say.
What's the biggest cause of stress in people's lives today?
Right now, actually, they've just done a stress survey which came out this week. 9 out of 10 people said it's work-related issues.
Right.
Work redundancies, job insecurities, increased workloads.
Working with people that
Australians
throw
are really-
insults at you all morning,
Yeah,
things
there is
like
that.
that.
You're
you
saying
go.
that I stressed you out.
You stress me out more than
I did
anyone
actually.
else.
I was actually thinking about this, thinking it'd be quite good fun to spend the rest of the morning actually trying to stress Todd out. I knew he'd be really relaxed after he spoke to you.
Yeah, I really like the book. I think it's great. I
Yeah,
think stress
thank
is a huge illness.
Yeah, de-stress. Myron Lees, thank you so much for coming in this
Oh,
morning.
it's such a pleasure. It's lovely to chat to you.
The
Yeah,
book is
really
available
relaxed.
everywhere. Yes.
Yeah, all the
Today?
major bookstores.
Perfect day to buy. De-stress day.
There you go.
Yeah, thank you for coming in.
Oh, it's really a pleasure.
Mark Lees, thank you for joining us. 6:45.